Hello, how are you doing? How is everybody doing tonight? This is Evelyn of Evelyn's Creations, and I'm like to welcome you to a live stream, which we do on Thursday nights. And while you are coming on, just want to thank you so much for those who have subscribed, those who are following me, and those who want to see more of the same thing and better. Tonight, the title is Becoming a Millionaire is Not an Accident. Okay. So you want to be a millionaire? Or you want to work like a millionaire? Or you want to make money like a millionaire? Or do you want to have an abundance of things that equal a million? Then this is the one for you. This is the channel for you. If this is your first time coming on with Evelyn, myself, I am an international fashion designer. I've been led to show so many things that I do to an audience of many, to inspire many people to be entrepreneurs, start your own business, keep your own business, expound, encourage others to go into business. Okay. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. I had a last minute client, last minute pastor came in the store and needed something in a couple of days. So um, that's why we coming on a couple minutes late. But as we still are having people to come on and they're texting, are we on live? Then yes, we're going to give you a couple minutes to come on and see what's going on. Remember too, we have a lot of people over on the different platforms on the West Coast and the Midwest that come on, and it's at their rush hour traffic. So without further ado, we're going to give them a couple of minutes. I'm going to show you what I'm wearing tonight because I told you every night I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to show you something that I'm wearing, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. So here we go. Tonight, what I have on is the reason that I'm doing this is because people ask, do you have fashion shows? And I said the best fashion show is a fashion show of one, which is yourself walking into a building, walking into church, going to pay your bills, going to the grocery store. Remember the title. To become a millionaire is not an accident. So if you don't want to act, if you think it's just going to happen, you can forget it. So you use yourself as your platform and your billboard. Now this here is the quickest, easiest way to make money. Less stress. I mean, this is the quickest way to make money. This piece or any fabric that you can do like this, it's like go make out your deposit slip. Okay. So before we get into the nuts and bolts, every night I'm gonna start showing you some some ways to be able to make money and making an outfit. Okay. I have on I have on a shawl or a wrap. Okay. I have on a shawl or a wrap. And it just wraps. It's just two straight seams on the outside, a neckline, and a straight seam. Okay, it's just that simple. Now I'm gonna cut one from you. I'm gonna cut this in 2 yards of fabric. 2 yards of fabric can get you there. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I got plenty of power. Hold 1 second. This is some African fabric. Now I know you're gonna say, well, why isn't she using the table? Why isn't it why is it that you're not using it the way you could be using it? And the reason that I'm doing it this way is because if you really start selling and you really start getting out there, you're gonna have to work with whatever you have, and you might not have a table. You may be in a You may be in a what is it? A room, or try to get this light right. You might be in a place where you don't have all the amenities of a table. Okay. So what I did, I cut 2 yards of fabric. Okay. I'm going to fold this in half. What I have on is equivalent to 2 yards of fabric. I'm going to fold it in half. And now I want you to know this. If you can look at a picture on the wall and see it's crooked, you can sew without a pattern. If you're laying in your bedroom tonight, or you laying on the couch and you look up and you see that that painting is crooked, then you can easily sew without a pattern. Remember, I said use your hand. Everything on your body is measurements. Use your hand, use your palm. I folded the fabric in half. I'm putting my hand right here at the top. Okay. And I'm just going to cut it just like this. Just like that. I just cut the neckline just like that. Okay. It's not that hard to sew without a pattern. You will not waste fabric. You'll have more than enough and you'll be fine. Okay. So I cut this 2 yards of fabric in half. Well, I didn't cut it in half. I folded it in half. Then I took my hand as a measurement, which is really about the size of your neck. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. The weight of the fabric, you can press this down if you want to, but I'm in a hurry. I need $100 real quick, like right now. That's how I need it right now. Okay. If you need $100 right now, watch this and you can make $100 in 20 minutes or less. I take the weight of the scissors and I cut it down just like that. Okay. I have actually made a shawl. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this little corner right here and I'm going to cut that. That's the neckline right here. Now what you can do is you can take that neckline and you put it on this side right here. The piece you just cut off, to make sure it's the same size, you take it right here and you cut that. All right, that's your neckline. All you need to do to make a shawl is to do that 5-minute trick. Then you take another piece of fabric and sew it on the inside, and then that's when you make your binding. All right. That's your quick shawl. That's what you're going to see now. Everybody wrapped up and they're wearing their shawls and they're slinging their shawls. All right. Okay. Now you want to make a little bit more money. You can turn that shawl into a swing coat, the same exact size. So you want a swing coat. You don't want a shawl. You don't want a wrap. You want some pockets in it. All right. So you take this. I fold it back in half. See, I got the opening right there. I take this. I want some wide sleeves. Now, what I have on is a shawl. I'm pretending that it's cold, but it's not because I'm in Florida. But I know people that I'm talking to is cold. So I said I want to wear something that's showing some warmth. Okay, so I put it right here. Now, this right here is approximately about 18 inches. I sew a lot, so I can kind of measure that. And that's plenty of room for your arm. See how this is? That's plenty of room for your arm. I take this here. I take anything I can find. If it's a chair, I take a chair. Okay, if it's a dresser, I take a dresser. What it is I'm expanding your imagination, how to be creative and how to work with what you have. Because you may be in a situation that you're staying with somebody or you're visiting someone and you just got a sewing machine and a couple of rolls of fabric and you need to make some money. You're traveling. I'm telling you how I survived that helped me get to multiple layers of things that equals up to several millions of dollars. And I'm showing you as if you are on grassroots, because sometimes when you're sewing, you think everything has to be perfect. Every pair of scissors, your table got to be straight, your atmosphere got to be straight. That's a perfect world. And sometimes you might be in a bad relationship. You might be having to leave real quick. You might just need some money and you don't have the finances to make that perfect sewing room. So that's why I'm showing you some survival tips. I'm taking this chair. I'm taking these scissors here. This is about, I said about 18 inches. I'm going to take it right here. I cut about four, when I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how far I cut. I take that. I take my scissors and I just cut a swirl. I cut a swirl. Now this what I'm cutting out is going to end up being my collar. All right. I just that quick without a pattern. I cut sleeves. I can put my pocket right here on the side. And I just made a swing coat with no pattern. All you have to do now is take the part of this fabric that's left. If you want a collar on it, you can take this and make your collar. If you need pockets, you got 4 of these. You got 2 for each side. You need pockets, you can take this. See how this already looked like a pocket? You want deep pockets, you can take it and make it in a pocket. It's just like the quilting. You take what you got and you make what you need, and then you make a profit. Now I'm gonna stand back so you can see how it looks. Now, if you want to try this, try it on a t-shirt. Take a t-shirt upside down and cut it. But I guarantee you, if you cut this one time without a pattern, you will be able to cut everything that you're making without a pattern. And you'll be amazed at how creative you already are. If you can just make a straight stitch, this can be a swing coat, this can be a baby doll dress, this can be a car coat. You can cut it shorter, and that's just 2 yards of fabric. A swing coat out of some really nice fabric. This fabric is for sale. If anybody want this fabric, I'll show some more fabrics tomorrow. A swing coat, on the average, a nice swing coat with some buttons is easily $135 to $155 with pockets and a button, collar or no collar. So you just took 2 yards of fabric of any quality and you made a swing coat, or you made a shawl, and you made it quickly, but great stitches, precise, the medium to the large stitch, and you went and you made your money. And then listen, if you took this and you were doing an event and you were showing your products online, it's rare that you can see that it's not even finished, but you can say this is in the prep mode. You can take this here and make this your measurement. If you want to tell how wide it is, you measure how wide, you measure how long, and then you could show them exactly how many pieces that you can make. You'll have this hanging on your racks. And when they get ready for it, you'll say, okay, Susan, try this on. See how you like it. And some people say, I like it like that. I like it full. Some people might say, I want you to put me some pleats in it. But you'll have your line of clothing up, and you can have, look, 6 yards of fabric will make you 3 of these. 6 yards will make you 3 of these. So when you put them on your rack and you get your orders, all you have to do is pull off your rack to complete your orders. Okay. Now you can take this same shawl. If you prep them all like this, which means you just did the neckline like I showed you and you cut it down, then you can have your shawls like this. And then you can say, I could turn it into a coat. You can have one shawl prep. You can have one swing coat prep. And that's how you build your inventory to get to your millions. Okay. The goal is to get to you having millions. Until you having millions, you got to have the potential. You got to have some product made. Okay. That's my treat for tonight. The title for tonight, for those who are just coming on, is Getting to a Millionaire is no mistake. It's not a mistake. You got to work at it. So we got to get you some baby steps so you can get to working at your millions. I like to invite everybody, or I like to thank everybody who's come on tonight. My name is Evelyn of Evelyn's Creations. This is a creative channel. This is Evelyn's Creative Boot Camp, where I teach you like soldiers, and I teach you as if you are already, if not a business owner, or if you're a business owner thriving and above. Okay. No soldier left behind. Again, this is Evelyn of Evelyn's Creations. Welcome to Evelyn's Creations Boot Camp. Without further ado, we're going to get started. And I'm going to do a roll call for tonight to tell you who all our members are and the reason that we are here tonight. Barbara Gary, Miss T from the SIP, Blessings 247, Donna Marshall, Shamira Customs, Terry Love, Constance Clinton, Christine Williams Wardrobe, Miriam, Yanis Hogpodge, Pink Bazaaz Boutique, Jackie Gurley, Yvette Batchman, Laura Farr, Sonia Harding, Linda Brown, Brenda Stephanie, Florence Mayabu, Enfield, Kiki Salisbury, Alessandra Banhart, Newly Defined Designs Company, Vanessa Parnell, Sassy Rebel, Kathy Woodard, Linda C. Payne, Galika Grace, Ngozi Dabre, Logan Style, Cynthia Brewer, Vet McCrae, Foreign Grace, Join Flo, Renee Salamhunden, Shelly Neal, Tatwina Gilder, Patricia C., Emily Rush, Gwendolyn Member Starb, The Thread Whisper, Awanda Brown, Rhonda Marie's Blessing, Liz Wilson, Mary Jones, La Renee, Lena's Bashar, Syndic, Leline Rockingham, Pearl Lucas, and Bernice Thompson. If you know any of those people, thank them, because if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be no us, it wouldn't be no boot camp, and they are members. Now, I said something last week. I have to correct myself. If I'm wrong, I have to correct myself. Last week, I said I wasn't going to dwell on membership. But when I was studying, because I study as I go through the week to make sure I'm a good enough candidate to have your attention. And when I was studying last week, I realized that I made a mistake when I said that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I had to pray about it. I'm like, God, I told you I wasn't going to do this no more. But anyway, what it was I was reading last week, because every night I try to give you a book to read. And I'm going to show you the book, the book and the author of what we're talking about tonight. And it was, and the man is an older white man. He's dead now, but he left a lot of good nuggets for you to read. And he said that he witnessed this. It was a homeless person asking for money. And the homeless person was asking a very affluent man that was in a nice suit for some money. And of course, he thought that this was going to be an easy thing to do, was to get some money from a real wealthy person. And he was a beggar. Okay. And so, excuse me. So the homeless man asked the guy for some money. And the guy, the affluent man said, why? This is a true story. Even though I'm telling you, he's telling me this is a true story. He said, why should I give you money? And he said, well, I'm asking you for the money. He said, but what do you have to offer? And he said, I just need some money. He said, well, that won't work. So he said, why don't you sell something in order to get some money? Why should I take my hard money and give it to you when you don't have anything to offer? I was like, oh my goodness. So 3 days went by. The homeless person said he went and told the wealthy man what happened. He went and saw some flowers on the side of the road. Some, you know how you had them pretty wildflowers on the side of the road? If you're driving, you'll see these beautiful wildflowers on the side of the road. So he went and grabbed some flowers, and he was back in the same spot, like the train station, like when R. Kelly was in the train station singing and stuff. He was back in the same area where the business people have to come in, catch the train. And he said, he said, I have some flowers. Would you give me a donation for some flowers? And everybody gave him a donation for those flowers. The wealthy man came up to him and he asked him, he said, hey, I got some flowers. Would you like to donate for the flowers? So the wealthy man gave him like $5 for a couple of the flowers. And he said, I got it now. And the wealthy man said, what? I got that I can't get something for free. I really got it. And so the homeless person went back, and 4 years later, Guess who was sitting beside each other in the top box car of the subway? The homeless man and the wealthy man. He told the wealthy man, he said, I got myself together. I went back and took a trade. Now I'm trading things on Wall Street. I have a couple of businesses under my umbrella. And now he's sitting there with the same kind of shoes on as the wealthy man. Lord have mercy. Look at God. So what I'm saying to that about people and about YouTube and about things in life and about Snap and about all these things, when you get used to getting something free, you don't really want to pay for nothing because you're going to look for the free stuff. It's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's a bad practice. It's a bad practice to want something for nothing, especially if it can enhance your life, your style, your motivation. You know, if somebody give you something that is really good, and then you see that there's people pouring a seed into it and they're paying into it so the Evelyn will keep coming on, then what I'm saying tonight is, once I read this story, and the name of the author is Napoleon Hill. I'm going to show you his book in a couple of seconds. And when I read and listened to his voice and saw what he was saying about when we give something to somebody, they stay at a certain level. When you earn it and you pay into it, everybody grow together. Everybody can come together. Now, before I show you this book, I'm going to tell you what happened. Those people who gave into this boot camp, this Evelyn boot camp, there was a person, if you follow me, and maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't catch it, but there was one story I told you all when I was walking in the morning about the lady who had only 35 cents just watching this channel. And I was telling her how great it is that you're not overdrawn. Okay. And I had been looking for her to see how she was doing. And it took her a couple of weeks before she responded. And she responded this week. And she said, Miss Evelyn, I really appreciate you reaching out, concerned about me. But she said, things have gotten worse. I have lost my job. My car could not go up the hills. And she's from Hawaii. And if you're watching, we're praying for you tonight. She said, I lost my job because my car kept breaking down because I lived up on the hillside. And when I lost my job, I lost my apartment. And then she sent me a picture of her still working with the things she had, because when she said she only had 35 cents, she said, I still have product, so I can go make me some money. And she said, well, I don't have the money to get the things for the quilt, but I really appreciate you reaching out to me. So those who paid into the membership, guess what I did with your money? I just got I'm not saying that little money, but I get $2 off of each membership, okay? Because everything else go to YouTube. But that's $2 off of the memberships. That's $2.99. They take 30% out. But I combined all of those memberships, and I made her a beautiful care package of all types of fabrics to make quilts and to make other things with it. And I mailed it to her absolutely free, and prayed with her and hope that she gets it together and get it better. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because a lot of times people don't really want money when they're struggling, because they got to figure it out. In other words, if you keep giving me money, I can't figure myself out because that money is going to run out. So I got to keep doing something to make money. So I want everybody, remember how I said, raise your hand, pat your hand on the back. I want you to pat yourself on the back, because some of you are going into your second month. They've already hit your cards that you renewed your membership with Evelyn's Creative Boot Camp. Those funds, I took all of it and I sent it to Hawaii to help one of our members get on her feet. And when you can do that's what's so great about this channel. If you got an item to sell, if you got some ideas, if you got some things, if you're going through something. Now, I'm not saying we're going to give money. What I'm saying is we're going to give you product to make money. Because he said if you teach them how to fish, they can feed themselves. If you give them the fish, they just eat for the night, right? So we got to teach everybody how to fish. We got to get big fish, bigger fish, and more fish. Okay. So the book for tonight. Where's my book for tonight? Oh, it's right here. The book for tonight is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is the book for tonight. Now, I will give an affiliate link. If you want to get the affiliate link, you go right to it and buy it. I have that after we close tonight. But Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And from now on, I have the links to whatever book I recommend. Now, this is like a Bible book. This got so much good stuff in it. You're going to be like, oh, I can't believe she gave me that book to read. Oh, my goodness. Okay, you don't have time to read? Guess what? Read 2-3 pages a day. You're going to go to the bathroom at least 3 times in a day, right? This book I keep in my backpack. This book you can keep in your purse. Take the book, put it in a Ziploc bag, mark the book, write it all up, and this is how we're going to get you to your first million. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He will make your brain just go like this. Because when I'm trying to think, well, no, I don't want to be asking nobody for memberships. He's saying, well, you know what? If you don't ask for memberships, you are stopping someone to be wealthy. Because if you keep feeding it to them and don't ask them to become a member so they can ask for some private questions, or they can maybe grow into get some private coaching, or they can buy some classes from you, or they can ask really how do I find out if my name registered? How do I find out what kind of bank accounts do I need? All those things, you're not going to get it in one place that I know of on YouTube like I give it to you. So the moral of the story is, especially a lot of people are watching now. They're fabric content. There are fabric people watching. There are business owners watching. There are I'm getting notes from furniture folks who want to know where they can get certain fabrics to do their furniture. They're asking me to promote their furniture. Well, right now that's not my lane. My lane right now is to be able to encourage, inspire, to get everybody on this channel to where your sweet spot is that you can make wealth. And the reason that I want you to know that is because, first of all, Florida is a test state, and right now they have these. It may be in your state, but right now they have these cars driving around with no people in them, right? Well, some of these people that are in the back of the cars that you can't see, they're my clients, and these automated cars are driving around. GPSs, they're driving around your neighborhoods, they're driving down your downtown, and they're learning the maps, and they going by Google, and they have these things on the side of them that make sure they don't hit anybody. A lot of the big box stores have these computers that are cleaning the floor with nobody behind it. They are cleaning the parking lots with nobody behind it. So slowly, AI is taking over human contact. And if we don't get this channel where we are self-sufficient and that we can inspire and help others, we're going to be lost, because the cars that are driving around, they're going after the gig jobs. You know how you order a pizza or you order groceries? Those cars with no drivers on them or no drivers in them, they're going to be delivering your pizza. That means that's going to be a person that's going to be taken out the workforce. They're going to be delivered. You know, now you have a driver that's bringing your groceries. Well, those machines that are cars, they're going to take over. Why? Because you don't have to call in sick. You don't have to have a funeral day. You don't have to have a birthday off. All these things that we have a luxury of right now, the way AI is coming. Remember I told you last week, Jamie of Chase Mortgage Bank is saying how we're going to figure out how people are going to live because AI is doing. It's real. It's right here. Look, I saw it yesterday. One of my employees is in here in one of the cars, laying down, making sure the car go. Look, it is here. So I'm here tonight to tell you the best thing that we can do is build our wealth, keep sowing, because sowing is a untapped multi-million-dollar industry that's wide open. It has very little it has very little credit, but it can go a long way. And why I say, you said, well, machines are sewing clothes now. Yeah, machines are sewing clothes now, but machines are not sewing it for you. You know, you want to talk to somebody making your dress. You want to talk to somebody that, you know, even if you mail something to someone and you don't even know them, they want to ask you some personal questions that you need to answer. How does it feel? How does it smell? How does it look? Okay, let me see this side. Let me see that side. All of that, AI can't do that. So we have to fight with all that we have to stay consistent in our craft, and make sure you make human contact. Make sure you, like I said, make sure you tell everybody thank you. Have a nice day. The machine's not going to tell you thank, or they might tell you thank you, but are you going to want a robot to tell you thank you? That's why they're working so hard to take your voice. On that note, if you're watching me from another country, I only want my voice to be in English for me, but you can hit a translate button. I don't want, I took off the part of my YouTube channel that just automatically changed my voice. And the reason I did that is because there are different words that mean different things in different countries. And I don't want to take advantage or have a word that I say that is offensive that is not offensive in English. So right now with my channel, I'm only speaking in English. So in other countries, if you speak English or you know English, then that's why you still have the channel. Later we'll reconsider that. But I saw the channel was growing up so big, and I knew it was going to different languages. And I saw some of my friends who was having problems with one word meant another word. Like in the black neighborhood, you can say stank. Oh, that stank, like it's good, and over stank, somebody else mean like it smell bad. You know, just different words. Or that's fresh. Or that's, you know, fresh in some countries sound like it's gay, and fresh in some countries sound like it's nice. So we have a lot of different words that mean a lot of different things. So right now, I just said no. We're gonna grow the channel organically, and if you want to hear what I'm saying, it can translate the word in your word, but it won't change what I'm saying. That's why I stopped that. Okay. Now, talked about this is another thing. I got so much for you, but I'm not gonna keep y'all all night. The 50-year mortgage. Remember last week I was talking about how I want everybody to have a mortgage, or if you want to have a mortgage, you can have a mortgage. If you got a mortgage, you can have a rental price or rental property or Airbnb. So now what they're saying now is the 50-year mortgages. Okay, the average person right now is buying a house at 59 years old. I think the average person on the YouTube channel right now I think the youngest person I have on here is about 20, between 20 and 22. And the oldest person I have on here is 82. So there's a wide spread of ages and different levels of where you are on your journey with sewing. But the average person don't buy a house until 59, where when I was coming up, we bought houses in 28 at age 28. We're buying our whole house. I bought my first house at 28. So the mortgage rate was low. But now with the mortgages being 50 years, if you invest into a 50-year mortgage and you actually get a house when they're saying it at 59, when you can finally pull your resources together, you'll be 59 and 50-year mortgage. That means you'll be 109. That means you'll never own your house. So I really want, if you don't have a goal, really consider buying a property with your money. Find out where you can be and buy a property with, and don't take, I would suggest, do not take the 50-year mortgage, because you'll never own it. You'll have to keep up the house. And then they're actually saying that you don't even need a good credit score to get these houses. So what has happened is they have overbuilt the properties, and they're really, really big houses. And so the only way you can afford it is to have a 50-year mortgage, so the mortgage will come down. Now, I guess you say, well, why are you talking about mortgages and properties and gigs and all this? I'm saying that to say is that you are on this boot camp channel. You can't be tunnel vision. You got to know what's going on around you in small doses. Don't overload on anything. But when you see how things are going over there, then you build up your bank account so you can still get a regular 30-year mortgage. Okay. So when you see things are going where they no gig work, no, you might have kids doing gig work. You start letting those kids know, hey, pick up that sewing machine, pick up that needle and thread, cause somebody walk in the door and they want their pants hem. That's right now money. It can be cash. It can be look. If you want to build a business out of it, you make it a bit. You make it a business, and you build your wealth, and you have money coming in. And then when you build your wealth, and you get a credit card terminal, especially the ones that I recommend, every time you make a sale, your credit gets better and better and better. Every time you make a sale, you get longer lines of credit. And what I say is, you might apply for a card. If you brand new, don't have no credit, they may give you 500. Okay, you paid a couple credit cards, I give you 1,000. But if you got a credit card terminal with the companies that I tell you that log your process, and you start making, constant sales daily, constant sales weekly, bigger sales, then guess what? You don't have to go to the bank to get any money. They'll give you the money. They'll say, hey, you want $10,000? They'll give you the money. No, the money is not free, but you don't have to go through the hassle to get it. But if you manage that money and buy the goods that you need to make more money, and you triple it or 10x, remember what we said about the 10x? Remember this book, the 10x? If you start doing what you have to do, you won't worry about the cost of borrowing money. The cost of borrowing money is called interest. All right. When we use our credit cards, if we're not using our credit cards to build wealth, we have to pay the interest. But if we're using our credit cards to build wealth, it's called a business expense. It's the cost of doing business. Okay. Don't look at it like, hey, man, the interest rate on this card is 29%. It's 29% if you don't pay it by the end of the month. But if you pay something on it every 2 weeks, you pay a lesser percentage that you would have of the whole month. And then you build your garments to cover that interest. And that's how you build your wealth. And I don't see how you really can build wealth without using a credit card today. I don't recommend everything you do it on your debit card. And the reason I say that is because when you do it on your credit card and that bill comes up and you pay it, or if you do have to run a balance, you done paid on it, you have less. It makes you say, oh, I got to make a sale because my bill got to be paid. You know what I mean? So if you just use your own money, well, I lose my money. Okay, I don't feel like doing it no more. You got to put things in place that will keep you engaged, like it's a game of life. Okay, a game of life, meaning that I'm going to feel bad if I don't get this done. I'm going to feel bad if I can't pay my bills. I'm going to feel bad if I don't do this. When I say game of life, game means you enjoy doing it. But if you enjoy winning that game, you're going to say, okay, I made money, I broke even, or I got inventory. It's like a day. Every day you should sow something. Let's say it like that. Every single day. Don't cover your sewing machine up unless you're going out of town. All right. If you only got a 2 foot by 2 foot and your sewing machine and your feet under the door, leave that sewing machine up. In fact, leave some fabric under the needle and just sew a line. Just sew a line. Just sew a line. Just start getting in the habit of sewing. Don't make it that it's perfect before I sew. Don't make your environment that I can't sew anything unless everybody is out of the way. That may happen sometime, but it's not going to happen all the time. So when you want to get really good at sewing and you want to do some things like instant or under pressure, most of your jobs, when you're making real good money, it might come under pressure. And if it come under pressure, that means you got to already be in that sewing mood. For instance, pressure, like the mailman comes at 5 o'clock, or the mailman comes at 10 o'clock, or the client is coming in at 2 o'clock, or haven't even started yet. So you got to be able to handle pressure and handle anxiety and handle emotions, because when you make something with your hands, remember, it's energy. It's like a living organism in those garments. It make them feel good. You attract the right clients. So if your machine is ready, remember I always say I recommend 2 sewing machines. If the machine is ready to go and you're doing good, get you a second sewing machine. The second sewing machine can be right beside that sewing machine, two different color threads. This might be with synthetic fabrics, this might be with cotton fabrics. And when you sit down and you're going, because you can't make sales if you don't have inventory, and you can't sew anything if you don't have a prep. If you got a prep line of things that you're going to sew, believe it or not, you can sell the prep pieces just as fast as you can the finished pieces, because you got some hang time. You got to clip the ends, you got to press it out, you got to bundle it, you got to package it. So when you have your prep line with all your clothes that you're going to make, or all your items, or one person said they do crossbody bags. If you got a line of that on your rack, you know what that does? It motivates you that, wow, look at all of this. And then check this out. Say if you got, look at these threads or something, and they what if they were all garments? Say if you had a $2,000 day, and you look and you said, man, I had a $2,000 day, and it don't look like I sold nothing. That shows you how valuable your merchandise is. Okay. And then you can have sales. Or then you can have BOGO sales, buy one, get one free. I want to clarify this. One person said to me, I'm so glad you told me to do my gift. Okay. I want to make sure I'm clear about your gift. When I say do your gift, excuse me a second. When I say do your gift, I don't mean get stuck in your gift. I want to make sure that I'm clear about this. You can do more than one thing. Your car can drive more than one way. You can go front, back, turn this way, turn that way. If you got in a car, it only went one way, you wouldn't want that car. Okay? Whatever your gift is, whatever you can sew, make sure don't put a cap on it. If you're making jewelry and you like a certain type of string to make your jewelry, and the beads have a bigger hole or a smaller hole, then that means adjust your string. That doesn't mean I can only make jewelry because it goes this way, or I can only sew something because it's cotton, or I can only sew something if it's stretch, two-way stretch, one-way stretch. Okay, don't put limits on your wealth. So yes, do your favorite thing, but do things that will sell, and do things that are evergreen, meaning they can sell all year, and do things that are not racial, meaning that it's just not going to work for white people, or just for black people, or just Puerto Rican people, or Haitian people, or German or Italy or whatever. Do something that anybody and everybody can buy, and then you have a safe spot. Not saying you can't do anything that's gender. Like today, someone called me and said, do you do Dominican Republic dresses? And I didn't know what it was. And I said, send me a picture. And it's red, white, and blue. But when I looked at it, it looked like when I was in Cuba. I'm like, this is a Cuban dress, but they call it Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic. Okay. Well, she's looking for that dress. You're in Florida. There's no DR stores around here. That dress have to be custom made. So when you have a person that only make that dress, and that person's in a different state or a different country, then it's going to be very difficult either way. But if you had a dress that anybody could wear, anybody could have it this way or that way, then you have more chances of making income. So I just want to be clear that on your journey, make sure that you step outside yourself and you look at it and just see if it's beautiful. Don't look at what you're making to be just for one type of person or one type of atmosphere. And that way, as the years go along When the next year come up, you may have some overage, and it's been really well preserved, and you can sell it as fresh inventory. Okay, so if you have something and it's just a Christmas, you know how you have Christmas trees and you don't want to see them up in February. They look good in November, they look good in December, they look good on January the 1st, but in February you don't want to see a Christmas tree. You feel like that year is over. I'm done with that. I'm ready to go on with 2026. So what I'm saying is make sure your inventory looks the same way. Make sure that when you're building your inventory, you got something for men and women. Okay? Don't just go with one gender. Don't just say, oh, I'm just making stuff for women. Hats can be for men and women. Scarves can be for men and women. When it's cold, everybody wants to be warm. When it's hot, everybody want to be creative and loose and flowing. So build your inventory so you can survive and then you can thrive. And then as you build your inventory up, your old inventory you can put on sale. Your new inventory is upscale and it's a better price. Okay. So let me see what else. And then I'm going to take some of y'all questions. I want to make sure that we go over everything. Okay. Last thing before I start taking your questions is about the quilt contest. People are asking me about the quilt contest. It's not really a contest. The quilting is just to get us to learn different parts of all aspects of sewing, to be creative with our remnant or our treasures, to make a legacy within everyone's family. So when you see a piece of cloth, you can start just sewing that cloth and you make a quilt. And I had a message sent to me about the quilters and about, there was a lady in Germany that was traveling and she needed money and she made this little quilt shop and she ended up taking these quilts and showed people how to go to the safe houses and how to hide from the police. And she was actually making 43 quilts in a week. I mean, big, nice quilts that they would put around them, but they were maps. And the maps, she didn't write out the words. She used different colors of fabric to show where were the lakes, where was the safe house, where was to go around the lake, how many trees was going to be up. And she was outsmarting everybody, and they were called ugly quilts. And I never knew about this lady. I think it was Lorene. I'm gonna get your name right. Who sent me that YouTube? But I'm gonna put that YouTube for everybody to see this story about the lady who made all these quilts, and she sold them really cheap because she just wanted to make money. They would give her fabrics from old clothes, and she'd take these old clothes and she would make all these quilts. Well, the reason that I wanted us to start working with quilts is because I think you can leave your family a legacy, and it's a good way to do some quick sewing, getting warmed up before you work on your projects. So by Christmas Eve, which will be on a Wednesday because Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, it's like the same time each month. But I want you to each year have the Christmas and Thanksgiving like that. I want you to just show your quilt. Now the quilt doesn't have to be finished. We just want you to start. We want you to send me the pictures. I'm going to hold up the pictures so everybody can see who your name is and where you're putting your name and your city. Where you're from, and I want to show all of the quilts that are being started. And if you make a really detailed quilt, it can take some time. But if you do some simple quilts, it could be something simple. It could be, it could be a quilted scarf. It could be a quilted placemat. It's just everybody make your own rules, how you want to do it. And it's no pressure. It's just us coming together, being creative with what we have. You can add fabrics to what you ordered, or you can use only what you ordered. And then you can, when your fabrics hit the ground, you can say, oh, I could do that with that quilt. I could do this with that quilt. So it's a fun way for us to connect. And it's a fun way to see how you can be creative and make a quilt with your legacy. I would love to be able to make a quilt like Harriet Tubman and showing where the places are and where she went and how she got people through the Underground Railroad. I would just love to be able to do that myself. I have to retrace that to do that myself, but I am doing my little quilt And I want everybody to join. I think it's a good team effort. And those who are looking and just coming on for the first night, what we have is you can order a box of good African treasure fabrics that I have. The cost is $20. If you want that, the number is 407-590-8767. That's 407-590-8767. And you order the quilt fabric, and then you start, and then the showcase is Christmas Eve. And even if you're not on Christmas Eve, you can come back and watch it, and I'll show whatever you have sent me that you're working on. So it doesn't have to be complete. It just has to be started. Okay. That's what we got. Now I'm going to answer some questions. Okay. Someone just, Constance, the number, I had sent you that, Constance, but the number that you can text me is 407-590-8767. Okay. You can ask me a question. Yes, you can ask me when you text me on that number, you can ask me any question you like. I can respond to you in a text or a phone call. Okay. Or email. If you text me and you prefer me to email you, I will send you my email address, and you can do that. We can go that route so that you can just feel like, hey, I know her and I want to see what's going on. Thank you all who are asking, I get a lot of calls from you all, a lot of texts, a lot of messages from you who are asking me, or who are saying, I'm praying for you that you have good health so you can continue doing what you're doing. I love what I do. I mean, I really love making people happy. I love to see who I made it for. I love when I mail something to someone and they send me a picture of it. I love that I can even say, do you want a refund? And the reason I say that is because when you put everything you have together for someone, and someone says, well, you know what? I asked for this and I was supposed to get it by the 16th and I got it on the 18th. And I'm like, okay, if it didn't make your deadline, you can send it back and I'll give you a refund. Now, I normally don't give refunds, but I'm in this place in my life right now where I really want to be appreciated. And I really want people to feel like I got some of her with me and I can win the war. That's how I feel. That's how I feel in my life right now, is because when somebody take the time to make something from scratch and give it to you and put everything they got in it. And when you're used to, we have to be careful about when people are used to just buying something off the shelf. That's not always your customer or your client. When people buy from you, make sure you let them know that this is made, handmade. This is a one of a kind. Even though you make the same item, there's going to be something slightly different in each item. The fabric might be a little short, might be a little longer, might be the stitches might be a little tall at the top or a little bit lower at the bottom. All those mean that it's not identical the same. And when you build something for someone and you give it to someone, you may have to counsel them first and say, hey, this is what I do. And when you start doing that enough, remember what I told you last week, people will pay you before it's done. So you build that relationship and you're always busy. You're always busy. Before you know it, you'll have a line. I'm waiting. When can I get in? How can I get this done? So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because there's more coming for you. Just keep your head straight. Put your shoulders back. Be professional. Make sure it's a good exchange with your client. Okay. And then they're going to be concerned about you. They'll start bringing you tea. They'll start wishing you well. They'll start, hey, I like this. You do this great. So a lot of times you may sew for people that sew, but they don't feel like it because they've been burnt out from somebody and they'd rather have you to make it than them to make it. You may sew for a lot of people that really know how to sew, that may have a sewing machine. So don't be afraid if somebody say, well, you got here 2 days late. Well, guess what? That was a 40-day where people didn't get paid. The government was shut down for 40. Look, things was happening in life. So if you want it, thank you. If you don't want it, listen, send it back. I'll give you a refund. Because you know what happens when people send stuff back? There's somebody else right there. I'll take it. I want that one. Give me that one. There's never a time when you'll get an exchange back or you get somebody presented back that you won't sell it. You will always sell it. Okay, this is Brenda. Brenda said, "Oh, hi, Brenda." She says she's working on multiple items. She's working on her inventory. She wants me to tell everybody she said hello. And you know what? Brenda is all in. Brenda said, "Look, I can do this. I already got my house. I got everything together. I'm getting my room right. I got some inventory set up. I'm doing it. I'm finna get my name. I'm finna register my name. I'm finna have my business. I'm finna be doing it. And when you do it, it's not an accident. Remember, I'm saying being a millionaire is not an accident. Being successful is not an accident. Hitting the jump shot every time. I was a point guard in college. If you want to hit that jump shot every time, I mean, you got to practice. You got to practice. And if you don't practice, you're not going to get there. So when you say, I just really don't, you know what you got to do? Get tired of being broke. Get tired of going to the store and got to figure out, do I have enough money to pay for this? Get tired if you got a tire flat, you don't have enough money on your card, or you don't get paid for 2 weeks and you got to go borrow the money. Get tired of just asking people for something that you should already have. Get tired of being by broke friends that's just as broke as you. Get tired of being with broke people in the church, looking at all you can eat and stealing chicken when they go out the restaurant. Just get tired of being broke. Get tired of making excuses that you can't do it. You know what you do? You get your head up. Remember I told you, pray before you go to bed. Pray when you open your eyes and ask for what you want. And then expect it and say thank you. And when you do that, your harvest is going to come. The money is going to come. Remember last week, the money going to come, but how do you make it? How do you make this money turn into more money? Buy stuff that's going to create more wealth. Buy things like the store you see behind me. The store you see behind me are things that I purchased with the money from sewing that will buy me time to keep making things for somebody else, or keep making things that I could sell to the general public online that doesn't really need to be sized. But if it needs to be sized, I can size it. So what I did with my money that I make from making things in the store is I bought me some time. I bought me some time for people who are not used to sewing. Do you know we have 2 generations of people that don't know anybody that sews? But in Florida is a transitional state where everybody come from up north because of it's cold, and they come down to Florida because it's better weather for their arthritis and different things. Florida is a really retirement state. But what happens when those people come to Florida, when they up north, they know everybody sews. But when they come to Florida, they don't find anybody sewing but Evelyn. Okay? So when you don't find anybody sewing, it's me and a couple Chinese ladies that sew. They're not in the mall, they're somewhere else. When you don't find anyone sewing, you have a flux of people that come and they already have their fabric. And they just, like today, lady come in, she want 2 dresses made. She had 2 pieces of beautiful fabric she done had for 3 years. I cut the dress out of her while she was standing up in the mirror in the back, like I be showing y'all. She started crying. I said, what's wrong? She said, oh my God, I did not know you could do this. I did not know you could cut the dress on me. I've been having this fabric for 2 years. This fabric means so much to me. Now I can get to wear the fabric. Oh my God. She started crying, crocodile tears, for whatever that fabric meant for her. And I said, okay, we're going to make you a dress. We're going to make you a shawl. And we got enough fabric left. We're going to make you a skirt. So I'm going to do all this with your fabric. And you're going to come back on Tuesday. And you're going to take this with you. So you got your nice Thanksgiving dress. Now you can decide what you want out your other dress, out your other fabric. So what I'm saying to you is that if you put your skill set together and you harness your skills, first of all, you won't be intimidated by AI. Second of all, you'll start spreading the love and the word that there's a scripture in the Bible say you will make money from your hands. Okay. And there's another other powerful scripture in the Bible, or there's reference in the Bible. There were only two types of people: servants and masters. Servants mean you're gonna always work for somebody else. Masters mean you're gonna always have somebody working for you. Isn't that heavy? They didn't talk about but two different type of people in the Bible: the masters or the servants. So when you start figuring it out, am I going to be a servant to this job? Not saying leave your job, but is that job, after a while they're going to tell you your time is out. It's time to retire. Okay, your time is out. It's time, you're making too much money. We need a younger person so we can pay them less money. You done chopped out at 45 an hour, or 35 an hour, or 25 an hour. So now you're making too much money. So I need to give you a bonus package. I'm gonna give you a severance package. But if you start your business, your sewing business, your jewelry business, your crochet business, your I'm going to say your craft, but what I'm saying is your quilting business. If you start doing those businesses now, while you already have a job, then your business with your craft, which would turn into a business. It starts out as a hobby. It's a craft because you're making all kind of stuff, and then it becomes a business. And then when you make it a business, you set your hours and you pick and choose your clients, and then you just soar. I mean, you just go like this. Like now you're doing like this, and once you get locked in, you go like this, and then you start being referred to people. So and then the Okay, we're back. For some reason, I'm having a little blackout there, but anyway, thank you all if you're still there. And we're having some last minute questions for tonight. It says, I have inventory a website that is not finished. Setting it up, I'm in desperate need of your help. Oh my goodness. And I will help you, Miss Bernice. I will definitely help you. The number is 407 590 8767 if you need any help. Okay. We got some from Brazil. Brazil, hello. Okay. Does it cost a lot and is it hard to get started on Etsy? This is from Pink. Pink is out of California. Does it cost a lot to be on Etsy? No. It costs it's between $15 and $30 to start on Etsy. It costs 20 cents per item to load up your item on Etsy. And it just means to be consistent. I do recommend you getting some coaching because I'm seeing the items that you have, and I think I could be a help to you to be able to get those things up and selling and getting you your money back. So it should not cost you that. Vegas, you're out of Vegas. Okay, thank you. Pink is out of Vegas. She's not out of California. She's out of Vegas. You're right close to them though. It's hot in Vegas. I've made a lot of money in Vegas too. Um, I'm gonna say this about Vegas. There was a guy in Vegas. I was working in Vegas one year, and this guy had this beautiful sign out, and he said, "I need help." He said, "No, I just need a beer." I thought that was so cute. He said, "It's hot. I just need a beer." I was like, "That's cute. That's good." He was being honest. So yes, Etsy is a platform I highly recommend for you to start your own business, and the reason being is because it teaches you how to be a professional business person. It really teaches you, hey, you did this right, you did that wrong, you need to do this better, your pictures are too dark, you don't have enough words, you don't have enough search engines, it's like 100 things that you don't have right that they're going to tell you. And then they're going to give you a grade. And then they're going to ask people to evaluate you. And then sometimes you're going to wake up and you're going to cry yourself to sleep because they hurt your feelings so bad. But you will wake up and you'll dry your eyes and you'll learn how to be a better business person. I actually was told to get on Etsy by some kids that come through the mall. Miss Evelyn, you should be on Etsy. They'll buy all this stuff on Etsy. And guess what? They're right. Etsy is a sale every single day, all day long. I would highly recommend you to get an Etsy shop. And I'm not gonna say other shops that are out there, but I have did a lot of other ones, and that is my go-to because you engage and you learn what you're doing wrong, and people are real, and it will definitely hurt your feelings, but you get stronger. Every time you get a disappointment, you get stronger. Okay, somebody said, I wish you had automatic dubbing. Okay, automatic, all the stuff that can make this channel better is gonna cost some money. Okay, and we have a membership, but we have a small membership, and we are buying better equipment, but we will work on getting things better and brighter and more efficient, and even me standing up so I can talk to you and really get you engaged. But the bigger the channel go, the more people become a paying member. All that can be invested to getting it better. You know how you have a wagon with wooden wheels and it feel the bumps? That's where we are right now. We feeling the bumps. But you know what? We don't supposed to be like CNN. And even when you watch CNN sometimes, or these big shows that's live on TV, whatever, MSNBC or Fox, sometimes they lose a person for a connection reason. Okay, so even the people that are multi-billionaires, they have glitches, but we're gonna get this better. It can be better. I absolutely agree with that. Okay, someone says, do you know about a good website that I can get that doesn't cost a lot of money? Okay, that's Jean. What I would like, when you ask me a question, tell me where you're from so everybody can know where part you're from. Jean, the best website that you can get right now. There's two websites that I would recommend you getting. One, you could do it yourself, and that's called Canva. Go on Canva, and they can help you create a website, and it can come with the subscription. If you take in credit cards, if you're taking credit card payments, I recommend Square. And I recommend Square because Square will allow you to get your database. It will send people $5 coupons for them to come back and visit you. And it also will give you a free website. Square, Square. If you sign up with Square, and you can have a piece that can go on your phone, or you can have a small terminal, or you can have a desktop terminal. Square will give you a free website. Now, you can pay if you want your own website name. So I recommend Square. If you don't have a credit card, you need to take cards. I recommend Square. And then if you want a free website, I recommend Square website. If you want your own website, I recommend 1&1, the number one and the number one. Okay, that's a foreign website. That's in Canada, but it's a great website. That website costs $35 a month for 1&1. So Square and Canva, and then there's another one. Which were the ones? Because I have 3 or 4 different websites, and then Etsy. Etsy is a website. But Etsy owns, what you do with Etsy is you have to get, when your customers buy, you send them your information, because Etsy holds your hosts. They hold the people information. And you have to have that to a degree, because you don't want to be responsible for somebody's credit card information. So they protect the customer to make sure it's a safe place. And then they also have what they call guaranteed. If the customer is unsatisfied, they guarantee their money back. So sometimes they pay it themselves. If you're a good customer with Etsy and somebody's complaining about they didn't get something, or the mail destroyed it or whatever, Etsy will give them the money back and won't even penalize you. So they have some safeguards in there for you. Oh, you indicated where it's greater. I love Miss Bernice's indicator. Okay, Miss Jean is in Maryland, and Pink is in Vegas. I appreciate that. Are there any more questions? I'm going to stroll back and see. Okay, all the hellos. Somebody say they love the colors of the design. Thank you. That's Pearl saying she loved the colors. Patricia, she's saying hello. Miss Pearl Lucas is saying hello. Okay. Miss Constance says she can't see it. We're gonna move this screen up. Actually, what I have, Um, what I have next time, I'm gonna set up a good display for next week. Next week we're gonna be on Wednesday night, and I'm gonna practice and film myself before I start my show, and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, and I'm gonna have it where you can see what I'm cutting. So I'm gonna practice on that. So if you can't see what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna get better. Just hang in there with me. Basically, what I'm doing is showing you a overview of how you got to go into survival mode with sewing. Don't get to a point where don't get to a point where you can't, everything got to be perfect. When I say that, have you ever had some trash in your corner of your house and you can't find a dustpan? What you do? Get a piece of paper and you scoop it up, throw the paper and the trash in the garbage can. So what I'm showing you is that sewing is always improvising. It's always um you got to be creative. You got to find something new. You got to make something out of nothing. It's like a goulash, and then it turns into a staple piece of art. So we want to make sure that when we sewing, that everything doesn't it's not perfect. It's just not perfect. Okay. So it looks like I got all the questions answered. We'll go back through it, so I don't want to miss anybody who's trying to ask a question while we're on live. We got someone here tonight from Brazil. That is so. I've never been to Brazil. I would love to go to Brazil. Wow, isn't that amazing? I study a lot Brazil. I see how y'all get down with it. I actually have some friends that are going to Brazil after Christmas that work here in the mall. They just love Brazil. Okay, I'm gonna go back through all the questions. Okay, I have a inventory, a website that is not finished. Setting it up. I'm in desperate need of help. Okay, the websites. I think. Okay, when I just mentioned those websites to you, find out what your budget is for a website. Now, if you're making handmade things, the best website that you can do from your telephone, from your cell phone, not telephone, from your cell phone, the best website you could do is an Etsy website. And if you in the US, that's $15. And it's $20, it's 20 cents per item for 90 days. So if I put this shawl up, it's only gonna cost me 20 cents to put this shawl up. And that's for 90 days. Now you can have it for 90 days, or you can hit automatic renew. So it's 80 cents a year. It'll cost you 80 cents per year per item. Okay? So if you got 100 items, which the target is 100 items. If you got 100 items, that's $80. $80 for the year for putting your things on the website. Now, yes, they do have a percentage when you sell it. They have a percentage of finding your customers. And then if you want to do any type of marketing, I always, if you do start an Etsy website in the near future, I recommend the Plus plan. The Plus plan is an extra $10 a month. The extra $10 a month is a plan that helps give you more insight on what you need to improve on. Okay, but if you don't want to, and I'm gonna tell you why I recommend the Etsy site. Even if you are working on another website, the reason that I recommend you to get an Etsy website is because they have 63 million customers. When you get a website by yourself, I have a website by myself that identifies me, that allows GPT or AI to tell you who I am, where I'm located, how long I've been in business. It does all the research for the customer before they even want to find me. Okay, that's with AI, Google, and GPT. Okay, now if you go on Etsy, Etsy website is going to see if you're consistent. They're going to see if you're uploading daily or bi-daily or once a day, 2 times a week or whatever. They're going to monitor that. Once they start believing that you're serious, or once they start seeing that you're serious, they're not going to believe nothing. They're only going to react to what you do. Okay. So once you put your stuff on Etsy, it's all over. It's all over the world. Okay. Once you start doing that, then you're going to start getting a lot more foot traffic because they're looking at everybody all over the world that wants what you have. Like if you got one website by yourself, you out there right there by yourself. If it's just your website with your name on it. And then you got to find the customer and tell them to go to your website. Well, when you go on a platform like Etsy, which is Etsy is for handcraft garments. It's mostly handcraft, but it also allows you to do digital products. Okay. That means you created, somebody else printed and ship it. That's what digital products is. Or you sell a book or they can print it themselves. But once you go on Etsy, you got 63 million people that they're looking at what's the best person for this item. And then if they find the right match for your item, then that's where you're going to have the sale. So would you like to be out here by yourself looking for people? Or would you like to be one of the buyers that they got 63 million tentacles and all these people, guess what? All these 63 million people, their credit card is already on file. So as soon as they find what you have to offer, they're going to hit click and they're going to take it right off their credit card. And then that's how you're going to get more sales. And that's why you should have multiple websites. Your one in one, if you get one in one, that's $35-$40 a month. That's good in your community to let people know if they are in your neighborhood or near your store, or you have a pickup drop off area, or you go by appointment only or whatever. I don't want to say whatever. I don't like the demeanor or anything. But if you have a place where somebody can pick up your items that you have for sale, if you do a website and it's on the Google page, make sure if you do a website and it's in your community that you list it on Google. Google will be your best friend and Google will advertise you for free. Now, they will call you and try to get you to upgrade, but find out how many people in your area that's doing the same thing. And it may be something you're doing very unique and it may only be 5 people. Like where I am, there's only like 4 people. So I don't have to really pay more for Google because you're going to look at the top 10 or the top 20. All right. So when you're at home, get a website. Get a website with your name on it or your business name on it in your community. So when you start selling and they're researching where can I get this product, they're going to come right directly to you and they're going to buy it from your location or where you arrange for them to pick it up at. But if you're on Etsy, that's more of a global page where you're selling things from people all over the world all day. I mean, I sell things on that website with people local because they go on that site to find what I have out there new because I put different things on my website that I have in the store and I still get sales right in the city and I can mail it'll be with them tomorrow if I ship it out on the same day. But I recommend too, if you can have a budget of I would say $60 a month, you can have both. If you got a budget of $60 a month, you can do Etsy and um, you can do your own private website, whichever company you choose. I wouldn't go a lot with a lot of money on websites when you're just starting out because you don't want to get overwhelmed and feel like you're just spending money and you're not making any money. So I recommend getting a website like with Etsy because Etsy just take their fees out of your first sale. So if you make a sale a month, which is going to be, you're going to make way more than that. But if you make a sale a month, you won't even, your fee is going to be taken out at the time of the month. They're going to ask for a credit card on file. But at the time of when your fees come out, it'll just come out probably out of one of your purchases and you're good. So you're always going to be in the positive if you are coached correctly and you're constantly uploading things and you're making things where people can find them and see them. Okay, let's see if there are any more. I got time for a couple more questions. If you guys got anything else to say, look like, okay, you asked me about Shopify. I tried Shopify. I really didn't do well with Shopify. Um, I'm not I'm not saying don't do Shopify. Shopify to me is if you're selling anything, it's not just if you're selling something that is handmade. In my experience with Shopify, I sold things that I did not make. And the reason that when you go to a handmade shop versus Shopify, a lot of times it's finding something that you can sell at a good price and sell it. Like if you buy some earrings you didn't make, you bought a dozen, cost you $5, you sold it for $20. By the time they take the fees out, you might have made $10. Okay. And you can't, and then what happened is the algorithm is going to look at who else might have those earrings, and then it's going to show the customer, if you don't like this, you might like this. If you don't like that, you might like that. So the customer will then see which is the best bang for the buck. Like eBay. I have an eBay account, but eBay is like a bidding. What's your best offer? Okay. So when you have a bidding or you have a comparison, it doesn't mean that Etsy won't compare you, but it won't be the exact same thing because you made it. If you buy something for Shopify and you get the same, somebody had the same bead, like these beads right here. I got these new bone beads. And I got these beads right here. These came from Gambia. Okay, I make a lot of jewelry out of this stuff. And if somebody else have this same strand of beads and you're selling this strand of beads for $80, and if you got a big wholesaler that bought a big old tractor trailer and they're selling it for $60, and the person gonna look at it and say they look the same, then they're gonna buy the $60. But if you took this bead apart and you made your own jewelry with it and you put it on Etsy, can't nobody match you because you did the bead with other beads you would put with it. If I'm being clear, handmade shops tend to look for people that like unique items that they can't find anyplace. It's like a footprint. Okay, so I'm not gonna say don't do Shopify. I just personally didn't do well. I did well. I say like this: I didn't do well, but I did make some sales with things that I didn't make. I like I like when people come in the store and buy something I didn't make because it's like a lot. It's like okay, they just want something. But when you get something that you have made, it's like I just gotta feel love. You know what I mean? So it's kind of corny thing right there. But if you're hand making something, I would say Etsy. Etsy is more forgiving for handmade stuff. Shopify is for mass produced stuff. Mass produced stuff. It's just like volume. It's like Amazon. Amazon, you can have an Amazon website for those people who want Amazon, but Amazon will penalize you if you don't have enough inventory. If you don't have volume, they will penalize you. You can do Amazon two ways. You can do Amazon website where you give them your stuff and they ship it, or you can have an Amazon website where they contact you before and they tell the customer when it's going to arrive. And once you put it in the mail, then that customer would then they'll release the money to you. As soon as the customer want it, they charge you for it. But Amazon will charge you if you don't have enough in stock. Because when they find these 63 million people and you're not ready to sell it or you don't have it readily available to go out, then they lose that sale. So Amazon is strictly about making money. They don't care if you hand make it. They don't care if it's from China. They don't care if it's from Thailand. They don't care if it's from the UK. If you're on Amazon, Amazon is about give them the money. If they don't want it, refund them. It's like, hey, all I want is your money. And I'm going to get it to you quick and fast. And if they want to return it, they return it. Okay. How do I order fabric from your shop? Okay. The number is 407-590-8767. I'm putting together just a fabric website that you can order it. And those who are members, you get a discount. And though the bigger your membership, the more discount you get, where it gets down to barely, I mean, it's wholesale in some places. So the fabric you can order. I will do a fabric video tomorrow. For those who want to get fabric before Thanksgiving, anything that you order tomorrow, it will ship tomorrow and it will be to you within 2 or 3 days. You can buy anywhere from 1 yard to 6 yards. I just got some new fabrics in. So tomorrow morning, when I come in, I will do another still slow video and fold some fabrics out to let you see some of these beautiful fabrics that just came in. And they're from Africa. They're just the best of the best of the best. Okay, that looks like I got all your question answered. I want to see what you're making. I want you to tell me you made a sale this week. I want you to tell me you made a sale yesterday. I want you to tell me you're making some sales tomorrow. I want you to get used to making money. I want you to get used to saying, I got a ching ching. Ching ching is when you get your sites open, your phone will start ringing in the night that you have to put it in another room because you'll be making sales. I don't want you to feel like you are alone. I don't want you to feel like you can't make it. We are here to support each other. We're to help each other out. We're to raise your fears to prosperity. Okay? And you can do it. If you can pick up a needle and thread and sew on a button, you can be extremely wealthy with your sewing. I'm not saying wealthy. Remember my words? Extremely wealthy. You can be extremely wealthy if you just pick up your needle and thread and start using your sewing machine and just start making baby steps. Start with your box of the remnants and the treasures that I gave you. Just consult sew those, look at the patterns, start looking at people's shapes and bodies, seeing how you can make that person look better in your garment. Start looking at the quilts and the design, seeing how you can make quilts at a better pace. Look at your pricing. Last thing before I go, I'm gonna talk about pricing. If you have a price on something, if it's $100, how much you think you're really gonna make? Okay, think about the shipping, think about the handling, think about the light bill in your house, think about the thread, the machine. If you have something at $50, you probably will profit. I mean, if you have something at $100, you're probably gonna profit $50. Okay, if you price something, if you have something for $25, if you can spend something on $25, like if it's a yard of fabric or if it's 2 yards of fabric and it comes to $25, and you can make it nice and you can make it simple and you can make it pretty quick. See if that item can be valued at $100. If that item can be valued at $100, like sometimes you can take a really nice fabric or a thick fabric. Thicker fabric have more value than thinner fabrics. Thicker fabrics sell higher than thinner fabrics, unless it's a silk or unless it's something that's dyed with something like, pizzazz. But in the winter, I'm talking to you on a point of where we are with the climate. If you can make something with 2 yards of fabric that you got $25 to $35 in it, you can basically charge up to $100 easily for that same item. Now, once you sell that item, once you take all of your expenses, sometimes as fashionists, seamstress, designers, we don't take all the expenses out, meaning that you didn't take out your hourly rate, the thread, the buttons, the zipper. You didn't take out, all the things that it take, the rent for the lights. You didn't take all that out. So when you think you made some money, you didn't make no money. So it's so important to price it for a sale. When they say they have a sale because they built in all the layers. They built in sale price, they built in the theft price, they built in the overhead price, the packaging, the person to sell it to you. All those items are built in, and they make their money off the top of those sale items, And then as it get low, they lower it down so they still making a profit until it go down to like $2, $3, $4. So make sure when you're making your items that it has value, that is as simple as possible. That means you can do it. Meaning if you can make a garment with under or an item under 2 hours, that's the best item to put on your website. Not the only item, that's your more frequent item. Because sometimes it's hard to find 2 good hours to make something if your life is all like this. You know what I mean? If you got all this stuff going on in your life. And it just happens. It don't matter how organized you are, life happens. So when you start putting stuff on your website, put things that can be done in a short period of time. So when you're making the garments or you're doing things, you can make it happen more frequently. And the reason that I'm saying that is because to really start making your millions, you need a website. So you need people to buy from all over the world, and you get evaluated if you can't deliver on time. It's not like a friend, they say, oh, she busy. No, when they pay you and you get prepaid before that item go out, they want that item when they give them 3 to 5 days within the mail range for you to get that item out. So you really, really, really want to make some things that looks good and quality, and your label in it. We can talk about labels next week. We want to make sure everything look as nice as possible so they'll come back. And when they come back, they're going to keep coming back and they're going to share your information. So when they get it, they're going to just say, I bought it online. So when you deliver, make sure you have a nice card, you have nice information. You can say, I'll give you $5 off on your next purchase. Here's the coupon code. Here's a coupon code. But you can do all of that. That actually looks better since the light. I gotta try without the light. It looks better without the light on here. But anyway, when you do that, you set yourself up for multiple sales and success. And that's where we are. When you come on, some people told me, I made my first $100 sale. I made my first $100 in doing alterations. I love when that happens because that means you're engaging and you're learning what we're doing. Okay. So when you see the light come on and you setting yourself up to make sales, you have to first manifest it in your mind. And I want everybody tonight, if you stayed with me this long, I want everybody tonight to say, thank you for my millions. Thank you for my millions. You have got to manifest it. And you can't just think that it's so far away that you can't have it. You said, thank you for my millions. Couple of houses, some stocks, some bonds, some farmland, something that's not going to deteriorate. Whatever you invest in, you want it to keep going up in value. And that's how you get your millions. So you don't want to just say, she just said, okay, millions, I gotta get my millions, and millions is not an accident. No, it's not. It's a planned thing. You preparing for it every day. Every day. That's why I said don't cover your sewing machine up. Turn it off when you're not using it. But keep your sewing machine on ready mode. Keep your sewing machine so that when it's on ready mode, if somebody come in your store, they're looking for you because you're the one that's giving them pleasure for working. People love to spend their money with somebody who worked for it. They love to spend their money with saying that, hey, she really, really, really earned my money and she got my pants right. Do you know everybody in this mall, I hem all these men pants. They got uniforms. I was like, you need me to fix them pants. Y'all look too good. You need not to be looking like. Bring the pants in. Gave them line of credit because they get paid every 2 weeks. Hem your pants. And we got it done. Okay? So, before you go, Gene Robinson, Pearl Lucas, Lear Rockingham, Pink Bazaz, Sassy Rebel, Gwendolyn Member-Stobbs, Bernice Thompson, Constance, Pink, thank you for your millions. Before you leave this, Thank you for my millions. Thank you for my millions. Let's manifest it. Let's not be afraid of wealth. Let's not be afraid of our gift. Okay? So if you can say it and you can see it, and you look at that small room or that big room or that little small sewing machine, that sewing machine will make you millions. And it's any kind of sewing machine. It's not a special sewing machine. All you gotta do is sit to that sewing machine and engage. And I guarantee you by this time next year, you're gonna see so much money. You're gonna see so much inventory. You're gonna see where you came from watching this little black woman on YouTube to now you got helpers. You're gonna have somebody helping you to pack the boxes and you inspect it before it go out. You're going to have somebody helping you cut or helping you climb the threads. All right. Last one. I keep saying it's the last one. I was at church one Sunday and the pastor was giving us a testimony about entrepreneurs. And he told us about the lady that baked cookies. She baked peanut butter cookies. And her husband worked for the airport and the airport had got shut down. This was way back in the 80s. Now, this is a long time, but this is when I was needing it. Like you need it, this when I was needing it. And so she got up and gave a testimony. He wanted her to testify to the church. After the service, he always asked somebody, do they have a testimony? So she testified that by her cooking baked peanut butter cookies, she was in Edenville, Florida, the first little black incorporated town in Florida. And she sent, not only did she send her kids to college, she sent her grandkids to college from baking cookies. And she said that's the only income they had was her baking cookies. There's a lady in town that sells candy apples. She called a candy apple lady. She come in the mall and she go to the movies. She always have a bag of candy apples. She said, girl, I came in the mall to see you. I had 19 candy apples. They all gone. I couldn't even bring one to buy. So what I'm trying to say, if you got a needle and thread, and even if you start picking up a paintbrush and you start stroking some stripes on your fabric, if you find a piece of cloth, then the cloth is just boring, but it's nice, get a piece of fabric, get a piece of paint, get some paint, not a piece of paint, get some paint. See this called barrel apple paint? I'm going to show you. Barrel apple paint. You can take that and make your own fabric. You can just paint some squibbles on some fabric and make your own fabric and let that fabric dry while you're sewing something else. Everything don't have to be scripted. Everything don't have to be perfect. Just sign your name. Write your name. If you got a name that you really like, you know how some people don't like their name. Some people do like their name. Some people like their name if it's spelled a some way. You can make a design, but it's really your letters and your name. And people will wear it. If people wear holes in their clothes and people wear pajamas to school and to work and to play, then you got it made. We got the best time in the world to make money out of fashion. And I am so glad that I found you. I'm so glad I found somebody who like to do the things I do. I'm so glad I found somebody who want to be inspired by my life and what I've done. And I have done a lot. And everything I've done has been through sewing. Every single thing, every home I own, everything I own has been from sewing. Every place, I even sold for the IRS one year. The IRS called me and said, you make us some ties? We want some African ties. So your sewing will make room for you. Your embroidery will make room for you. If you embroidery, if you crochet, if you do quilts, if you paint, if you make jewelry, if you make lampshades, whatever your gift is, it will make room for you. And I promise you, 1 year you're going to be looking at what you've accomplished. The second year, you're going to be saying, hey, I got investments. And the third and the fourth and the fifth year, you're going to be able to count up how many millions you have. I promise you, it will happen. If you engage, stay consistent, leave your sewing machine up. So when you see that sewing machine, it says, you better come on here. But you waiting on. You better come on here. Just sew something. Better come on here. And when you get that book, what I just showed you, Think and Grow Rich, I don't put it down, but that book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, there is nothing that'll stop you from being rich. In fact, I'm gonna tell you what happens when you start making $1 million and you have $1 million of wealth. You'll be saying, "Okay, God, okay, I got enough. I got enough." You were like, "Okay, God, I got enough." And what'll happen is you'll feel like, "I never knew I could do this." But then you got to put the right people in place so you can maintain it, like a maintenance person just to cut the yards for you. You know what I mean? Somebody that's glad to have a job. Somebody that will be happy that they working for a person like you, because everybody on the sound of my voice will be entrepreneurs beyond wealth. You'll have people working for you like the Bible. You either servant or a master. You are the masters. When servants get millions, they waste it. They lose it. Masters, when they get millions, it multiplies, it manifests. It's like some people say, it has babies, like a tree with seeds. When you open the orange, it got more seeds in it. That's what happens when you get millions, when you build it from ground up. When you get millions right away, you lose it because you never had it. You buy stuff that you never thought that you would ever have. And before you know it, you're broke. That's why they say when you win the lottery, you don't usually have anything left. Okay. But now that you're using your gift, your skill set, when you're using your hands of abundance, you know what I mean? There's nothing but the limit. And I can't wait till y'all show me these houses y'all bought. Not cars, no cars depreciate, but the houses you bought, the lives you saved, the people you've invested in that helps you with your business. You're gonna have some heartaches, but you're gonna have a lot of blessing. And you know what's the most important thing about building millions? The most important thing about having millions, growing millions, is leaving generational wealth. Generational wealth is when you go home, when you go outside tomorrow, when you leave your house and you see the same dealership, like say Chevrolet, Toyota, or Buick, Cadillac. When you go out of in your environment, wherever you live, you never see them go out of business. You know why? Because they built generational wealth. That's what Sam Walton did. He built generational wealth. And so when you start your millions, you'll be starting your bloodline of having generational wealth, because somebody in your family gonna see you sewing, somebody gonna see you mending, somebody gonna see you quilting, and they're gonna be like, what? Those kids get out of school, or they get suspended, or they need some side money, or whatever they do. They're gonna want to know, how can I make $100 in a day? How can I make $100 in an hour? How can I make $100 this week? And if you tell them what they can do with a needle and thread, or they can hem some pants, or they can press some clothes after you done fixed it up, and you can get them a stipend, they will see, man, that's all it takes. Because there's nobody walking around naked. Everybody got to have on clothes. They just got to have on your clothes, right? Praise the Lord. Okay, if you come on late, put, I want my millions. Give me my millions. I've earned my millions. Whatever you say when you're closing out, put millions and manifest it. And let's make our money. Let's live debt free. Let's not have anybody worried about food. Let's keep our niche close and tight so we can survive and thrive. And one thing we don't want to be worried about is money. We do not want to worry about money. We don't want to worry about debt. Let's make our money so we can pay our debt off. How about that? Let's make our money so we don't have to worry about bills. We can worry about our health. And we don't even want to worry about our health. We know what to do. We just want to do it. So we want to have, look, the power to success for this generation, for us right now, is the sewing machine. It's a silent weapon, and nobody gonna bother you. When you start sewing, people gonna walk away. You just making your money. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna get back to sewing. I'm still sewing. I'm gonna sew another hour before I go home tonight. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.